What's poppin', everybody? Welcome to Top 5 Comics. We are late, late, late to the third power. So not only are we late for the month we're covering, but we're late in the day of the week that we're filming. You can blame a job for that one. And then tonight we're late from when we were supposed to start because freaking StreamYard. But we're here. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't even really talked to Drew backstage because we couldn't get the slides to come up because StreamYard. So Drew's like, "Hey man, how's it going?" I'm like, "Just a second." He's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, he's got to deal with me. I'm telling him how much of a good time I'm having reading the Tim Drake Compendium collection. I'm 300 pages in after a couple days. I got a smile on my face. And Josh's over here like, God, motherfucker, God, cocksucker, son of a bitch, StreamYard, fuck. I'm like, oh, okay.
I was legit mouthing. And Drew's like, yeah, this book's a lot of fun. And I'm like, 30-second pause of not saying anything. Like, yeah, it's really good. Anyways, we're here. I guess I'm queer. This guy's not. But we're gonna talk comics tonight, and we're really excited. Like I said, we are behind, so we will be covering our top 5 for June, which I kind of have to like scavenge back through and try to remember some of these things. So don't judge me too hard on my list tonight, because I'm kind of like, I think I remember this, and I was too lazy to go back and read some of these things because look, it wasn't that good to read. But I did read 2 of them. I was like, is this as good as I remember? And I had a blast, so I can't wait to talk about them. But other than that, Drew, other than listening to me cuss and or just completely ignore you backstage while I went through a mental crisis, how are you doing, brother?
I am fantastic. So I bought my hotel room for New York Comic Con. It is official. It is a go. Actually, I bought my flight. So everything is squared away for New York. We're finalizing all the books right now, all the covers. We're going to be slowly rolling them out. Stay tuned in a couple days for the reveal of one specifically.
Oh
yeah. A lot of stuff. So no kidding, Josh, a lot of stuff I've gotten has been revealed the last few days. I sent you some stuff today as well. So
yes.
There's great stuff coming. This has been a very productive week, and it's amazing when you can see projects just finally the ball's rolling on them.
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's been a busy week for me, but it's been nice to like look at my phone after 7 to 8 hours of not looking at my phone and be like, oh shit. And be like, that makes my day better.
Yeah, and that's why I'm just like, hey, you want some good news? Yeah.
Yeah, you've had a lot of stuff recently. Like what was it? Gosh, my time is like all messed up. But you had the Willie, the second issue of the Willie book come out.
Yep.
3 weeks ago, about
San Diego came out San Diego, and
okay,
yeah, and not Max, sorry, Marat Michaels, he's going to be at Las Vegas this weekend at Amazing Con, selling Ultimate Willie #2.
Hell yeah! And you have a convention you're going to be at not this weekend but next weekend, correct?
That is correct. I will be at Fan Expo Chicago with Murphy. We're going to be selling our Chicago Fan Expo Chicago exclusive connecting cover set by the great Marissa Pope. Right there, she's so Murphy is the creator of Damsel, and I'm the co-creator of Unholy Nightmare. And this is the one of 2 connecting covers we're going to have at Fan Expo Chicago, done by Marissa Pope, who will be there as well. We're going to have trade dress covers, virgins, some foils, and a limited number of medals. We got a pre-sale up right now on Murphy's website.
Just drop the link in the chat.
Yeah, and they've done pretty damn well. Like, we've already covered the printing cost as of this morning. So it's like, all right, we're set there on the pre-sale. Nice. That's awesome. So yeah, everything after this is just gravy.
And is this a teaser, or is this going to be the full issues?
So this it's going to be the preview issue again of Unholy Nightmare. Okay. And nice. As far as Damsel goes, it may be the full issue. I'm not 100% certain.
How dare you not know what Murphy's doing? Shame on you.
I'll find out next week. How about that?
Nice. And then just to remind people the dates. What dates? I think this is like the 16th, 17th.
It's a 3-day show. It is going to be the days of. I'm trying to pull up my calendar. 16th, 17th, and 18th. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'll be there with Murphy at booth. I think it's A220. A220 is gonna be our booth number. Murphy and I are gonna be there, and we're gonna be selling books, getting them signed, selling them signed. Everything. I'm gonna have not on top of this. I'll have my headshot preview edition as well. I just got word from Ivan that he's gonna be shipping them out here in a couple days. So
sweet.
It's gonna be a great show next week. Can't wait.
I'm super excited for that. We previously showcased stuff from Head Shop. We will continue to showcase Damsel and Holy Nightmare, Head Shop, and more as it comes up. We might have to have just a whole show of like, these are the books that Drew has coming out.
Yeah, because trust me, by the time September rolls around, everyone's gonna be like, wait, so he wasn't kidding. He wasn't exaggerating about all the projects he's working on.
For real.
No, I'm not.
For real. Because there's stuff that's pretty much done and complete that hasn't even been discussed or announced or said anything about. And that's
I'm feeling like fucking Max Landis right now. Who did like I don't know like how many screenplays in like a number of months or years, and they're just sitting there. But in my case, most of these are done or in the process of being finished.
Are you the Pedro Pascal of comic book writers? Is that what you're saying?
That's low, you son of a bitch. Oh my god. Wow.
I'm kidding. I love you. I'm sorry. It's just everywhere. I'm really excited for this. We do have some comments here. We got Nadia coming in with, holy cow, that cake. There's another one that shows a little bit more cake, but I didn't pull those images. Yeah,
this is the nice connecting set. Yeah.
Right. And Corey, no, we don't know if Damsel's the full issue. We will find out, and then we'll get back. I'll get back to you. We'll partner with Murphy because you messaged me on Twitter, and I've been meaning to try to ask, and I just failed as a friend. But yeah, super stoked for this, and I think that's going to be a fun weekend for you, and you'll have a lot of good stuff to sell while you're there. And I will not be there, sadly, but you'll have to let me know how it goes. So.
Yeah, I'll let you know how it goes. And this is the first of two big shows this year. This in New York. New York's going to be massive. I cannot wait for that.
Nice. Before we get into our countdown of our top 5 comics of June, I do want to run through the comments real quick and say hello to everyone. We've got Cajun Corey in the house. Hello, brother. How are you doing? We've got JD Petty. JD, I will say, while I was mumbling and cussing and one word responding to Drew, I did read this and start laughing. But JD put, guess they're getting serious about throwing out creators they don't approve of now. I mean, it would fit. And I'll come back with a vengeance. As we saw earlier, we have Nadia here. Hello, Nadia. How are you? And look, JD Petty is agreeing. Dixon, Tim Drake, or do they dip into whatever they did? With it. No. It's just it's not just Dixon. They've got some of the Batman and Detective comics before the Robin miniseries, and then I think they've got the first 3 Robin miniseries.
That is correct. So. Yeah, they got Robin 1, 2, and 3. A lot of the early Batman Detective comic stuff. Stuff from stories, short stories from like Showcase 93, and the first 5 issues of the main Robin series. Sweet.
Yeah, it's a good run. There's so much Batman stuff, and even like sidekick Batman stuff that is really good that doesn't get talked about or featured as much as it needs to. Because
it's got memory hold. Yeah,
that's
your comments just got memory hold.
Yep. We've got the man himself, Max Von Priestley, in the house. Let's go. I think it's supposed to be let's fucking go. Come on, get with the Wolverine and Deadpool train, man. Like, what's wrong with you? Look, Nadia, ever since Max's Deadpool and Wolverine, I am Team Drew 24/7.
Yeah. As most are.
And then Max had to come in with Deadpool and Wolverine sucks, man. So yeah.
Yeah, haters gotta hate.
Leave it to Bad Take Priestley over there. We got Andrew Gonzalez in the house listening to y'all while I put in overtime at work. What's up, dude? Best way to spend work. I miss the days when I could have like a podcast going while doing scheduling or something. Can't really get away with that now. So, yeah. So I think we're going to go ahead and jump down into this top 5. So as a reminder, I cover what I thought were the top 5 debuts for the month, and Drew covers the general top 5. And I do think this is going to be an interesting month because I typically can get I can usually find 5 books and I'm like, I don't question saying like, hey, I thought this was a decent start to a series. This month I did struggle a little bit because there were 3 that I was surprised by and or enjoyed, and 2 that I was like, well, I guess many that I was like, yeah, I guess it was fine. So we'll see kind of what your thoughts on are if you read some of these. And then I think your list is going to be interesting because there was no Conan released in June.
No,
so,
as far as I know, yeah.
Yeah, no, and there was no issue of Conan that released in June, and there's a book that I would have assumed was going to be on your list, and maybe it didn't release in June either, but wasn't there. So we'll see. We're getting a little hype teasing up there, but
Yes.
we will start off with my number 5 pick, and that was Plastic Death and Dolls number 1. Now I'm going to start this off with saying there is a precursor book called Plastic that I don't know anything about. I've never read it. I didn't even discover it until I read this. Are you familiar with Plastic?
I know that I know the title. I've never read it. I do know of it.
So I will also say that in reading, here, let me just read the synopsis real quick and then we'll discuss it. But this is written by Doug Wagner with art by Daniel Hilliard and colors by Michelle Madsen. So everyone's favorite serial killer has returned. Learn how
Dexter?
Edwin came. I know, right? Oh God, please no. The last time he returned was not worth it. Learn how Edwin came to his first kill at 10 years old and how that set him on a blood-soaked path of decapitations, sporks, and dolls on his way to finding the one true love of his life, a sex doll named Virginia. I'm not going to say that on a technical level, this book is a good book. This book is like a car crash. But enjoyable. Like, it was just weird. Like, I was reading it and I'm not sure if I was enjoying it, but I didn't want to put it down. I wanted to keep reading. And then by the end of the book, I was like, I really don't know how I feel. This was odd and creepy and absurd and tisms all over the place. But I want to read the next issue and I want to go pick up the trade of Plastic. So I guess it did the job. It's just, this guy, Edwin, is just so like autistic to the 10th degree, weird serial killer, strange. But I couldn't help but to keep turning the page. And by the end, I wanted more. So, take that as you will. But yeah, no, it was an interesting read. It's from Image. And I'm assuming that if they're doing a sequel, like a follow-up, which is apparently kind of a prequel, Plastic did well. So if you've read Plastic, comment in the comments. Let me know what you think. Am I crazy for picking this? This is also not the only violent book I'm picking this week, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah, Max, no Conan. Conan, for whatever reason, they didn't release an issue in June. So strange times, which I didn't even really, I think they may have bumped it up to either hit May or to hit in July for some reason, but I can't, there was something like that. But Drew, we're going to get to your number 5 pick real quick. And that is Transformers number 9. So this is written by Daniel Warren Johnson with art by Jorge Corona and colors by Mike Spicer. The wars of Cybertron and Earth converge in ways the Autobots and Decepticons never expected. ... Why did you pick this for your number 5? And go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say it's for the ... That's why I got it for that. Yeah, or we call it an ellipses. Yeah, that's what we call that. But yeah, this was fantastic, and it is just an all-out war at this point in the issues. It's fantastic. You just see them just blowing the crap out of each other, just the Decepticons and the Autobots, and it's like, when you've read the Transformers or watched the Transformers for so long, you keep thinking that Megatron is the ultimate big baddie, or that Soundwave is a close second. and Starscream is just a cur dog. But really, the main psychopath that they're building up here, the main psychopath is Shockwave. Shockwave is the one where it's like he's the one. He's like the Hannibal Lecter, or like the mad scientist of the group that's going to just like F them all up behind the scenes. And what they're hinting at with Cliffjumper at the end of this, it's terrifying. And I don't want to know what's going to happen in the next issue. But yeah, the art in this by Jorge Corona is terrific. I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop with his art, but it hasn't. It doesn't. And he's still doing a kick-ass job on the art. Yep. And every page is kinetic and action-packed. I love this series. And we're all waiting. I'm just waiting for Megatron to show back up and rip off that arm from the Optimus Prime. I'm waiting for it. It's going to happen at some point.
It's going to happen. Yeah, I'm with you on the Jorge Corona art. I think he's doing an excellent job, and just the fear and the fact that I know his other work. I keep waiting for that other shoe to drop, but I'm very glad that it hasn't. So kudos to him. Kudos to Daniel Warren Johnson. And I mean, he's done a great job of keeping the same aesthetic from DWJ's art going into his time on the book. So really good stuff here. We do have JD Petty coming in with, but did Daniel Warren Johnson derail established characters to make strawmen out of Westboro Baptist Church?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
If there were, it was very briefly, and maybe it may have been for an issue or maybe a couple pages, but it didn't last that long, honestly. Yeah. That's not really. I would call it out if it did. Like why the hell was that there? I mean, really, the only problem with this book, if there's been one, it's been the girlfriend. She's just been an absolute pill. But thankfully, she's not really a factor that much in this issue. If she is, she knows her place, so that's good. But yeah, it's been fantastic, and this issue is fantastic. Just the stakes keep rising, and just I was looking for the Autobots, it just keeps looking worse and worse. I love it, and as well as for the human race.
Yes. We have Fiend Machine coming in with blowing the crap out of each other as a different context in current X-Men comics.
I knew someone was going to say that. I was like waiting for someone in the comments to be like, wait a minute, what did he just say?
What did he say? Yeah. And then JD Petty came back with Fiend Machine and IDW Transformers, because they're Transformers.
Yes, they are.
Oh yeah. We also have Cannoli Sasquatch in the house. What's up, brother? How are you? Good to see you here. Come be nerdy with us. We're gonna go ahead and move on to number 4. So for our number 4 pick, I'm okay. I think this might be controversial. I think some people are gonna say this isn't high enough, and then some people are gonna go, "Why is this on your list?" But suck it, biatch. It's my list. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But for number 4, Drew, I feel like you might be mad at me for this, but I put Batman Gotham by Gaslight, the Kryptonian Age #1. So this is written by Andy Diggle with art by Leandro Fernandez and colors by Dave Stewart. So the new era of Elseworlds kicks off with the return of its crown jewel, the mysterious and gothic world originated by Brian Augustine and Mike Mignola. When a mysterious meteor falls on the wide open plains of the Midwest, it will unleash a chain of events that find Gotham's bizarre Batman. It's too tiny to read. Continuing with not just the twin threats of the Catwoman and a mysterious international assassin, but also the emergence of superhuman beings beyond all comprehension. This sequel series expands the 19th century DC universe beyond the confines of Gotham City, showcasing the bold new visions of once familiar heroes. Don't miss it. I thought this was okay to good. I'm going to tell you the problem I have with it. It's not enough Batman.
It leaves Gotham.
Well, I mean, I'm okay with that to a degree. I mean, I think you need to have Gotham somewhat present, but yes, I don't know how else you would say it's part of this same universe as Gotham by Gaslight without still calling it Gotham by Gaslight. So I'm okay. I felt like there was very little Batman. I wish there was more Batman, but
bingo.
I enjoyed what they did showcase. Like, I had a lot of fun with Selena Kyle. I liked the take on her. I liked Holly, especially. I thought she was fun with her little, like Cockney accent. And I enjoy the tease of getting Superman, or what we think is, I'm assuming it's going to be Superman. It's Kryptonian H, I guess. But then you also have the ring. So there's a lot of stuff here. They put a lot of stuff in this first issue that could build something really nice. Will it? Who knows? But I believe it's supposed to be a maxi series of 12 issues. Is that correct?
Yeah, that sounds right. So hopefully it picks up the pace, but we'll see what happens.
And that's what I'll say. Like, is this earth shattering? No. But if I'm looking at one chapter, the first chapter of 12 issues, I'm okay with the slightly slower start. I still haven't read the second issue yet, but it's got to pick up within these next 2 issues if it's going to hold my attention. So for now, I thought it introduced enough plot lines and characters that I'm curious to see where they take it. But I would have loved to have seen something else involving Superman, because they really just had that opening stuff, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, I think you weren't crazy about this, right?
No, I guess it didn't dazzle me. It didn't. Honestly, if Batman had been in probably 1 page less, I would have said this was an absolute bait and switch. But or maybe they should just renamed the title to just Gotham by Gaslight. Don't say Batman, or just say the Gotham by Gaslight Kryptonian Nature. Just don't say Batman in it, because clearly he wasn't a factor. He wasn't that much of a factor in this. It's kind of like, I imagine it's like watching the Penguin series coming up from HBO. Batman's not even going to be in it. Maybe mentioned once, if that. But that's what this kind of felt like. But and for what it is, just go. If you go in expecting Batman, you're gonna be disappointed. Don't do that.
Yeah, I will reveal. I was for my number 5 pick, my number 4 pick. There were like, I think 2 or 3 other books that I was kind of rotating around. And 2 of those other 2 were Despero and Scarlet, which I didn't think were great either. And that's kind of that's how many bad books there were that debuted in June. I'll just put it that way. Because when that's kind of going, because our other options were like Absolute Power debuted, or the teaser, I guess, for it. You had the Ultimates debut. It was a lot of bad. It was just a whole lot of bad.
Or just not just bad, but I would just say underwhelming.
Yes.
Just, a lot of build up. You're like, it's like the guy, at a bar, he sees a hot chick, really talking up his game, really talking up what he's got between his legs. Get back to the hotel. It all falls apart. The house of cards,
It was all
nothing.
talk.
All talk. Yeah.
He was stuffing. That's what he was doing. Oh no. Yeah. No, I feel you here. This isn't something that I got overly excited about. It was competent. It was competent enough that I was like, yeah, I'll check out the next couple issues. So again, not the highest of praise, but hey, I'm trying to deliver 5 books the debut. Drew, going on to your number 4, you picked Feral number 4, written by Tony Fleeks with art by Trish Forstner, colors by Tony Rodriguez. We've got more animal horror in this ongoing series from the creators of Stray Dogs. The indoor cats finally come home, but so do their secrets. After surviving the rabies-infested forest, can the cats survive each other? And what exactly is lurking in the basement? Don't get bit, don't get scratched, don't become feral. Why is this your number 4 pick of the month?
Because I've told countless people, and Max, he knows, he's watching. I hate cats. I hate cats with a passion. And the fact that Trish and Tony have been able to tell a story where I'm able to be concerned and care for the main protagonist of the story, in this case, cats, for their survival, they've done a great job with that. And I really do hope that, the best outcome for these cats, and how they're illustrated in this, and especially in this issue, what the cats do in this. It's cute. Granted, they're serious tones going on. It's it's like it's a zombie plague, but with rabies. But when you see what they're doing, when they're like there's a scene in this when they're looking at the TV, and the people on the TV, the news broadcasts, are talking about how serious the situation is. This outbreak, the plague, and all that. Meanwhile, the news channels are showing animals on the screen, and the cats clearly don't know can't tell what the reporters are saying, but they're seeing the animals like, oh, look at how big that bird is. We got to eat that. And it's just like, yeah, I could absolutely see cats doing that. Being attracted to the TVs and the big birds. It's cute. I like it's great. Mixing comedy and horror. It's a very very hard balance to do, and they do a great job here of balancing the horror and the comedy. And of course, naturally, one of the cats amidst the group is infected. We do know which one it is. Mm-hmm. It's just we're waiting for the turn, and that may or may not be in this issue. We got to find out. But yeah, and some secrets come out from one of the cats from their past. It's a great issue. It's a great series. If you're like me and you hate cats, give this a shot. You'll enjoy it. And if you love horror stories, give this a shot. It is a very very fantastic read.
Yeah, it's a fun read. It's engaging. I'm totally like bought into the book, the story, and the characters. And I keep coming back for more because I'm curious to see what happens. And I also hate cats. I don't want to say I hate cats, but cats are not my favorite. No. They tear up shit. They knock stuff off shelves. They go do this number to your couches, and like they're evil.
They think they own the place.
Like, yeah, and look, Max is agreeing. He knows that you and Kyle hate cats, but then he's also showing his vagina side, I guess, because he is grateful for the feline representation. He would be grateful, but cats. It is a good story though, and you're right. They do balance horror and comedy very well. It feels natural for these cats, these characters. And there's a good amount of suspense here because we've kind of been waiting on this. Like we've known which of these cats have been infected pretty much since the end of the first issue, the end of the second issue. I can't remember.
I think it's at the end of the first. I
think so. And it's just been like this wait because we talked about waiting for the shoe to drop. You've got it here. You're just waiting for that shoe to drop because it's going to be bad. So. Yeah, really good book. And Corey's coming in to say, I prefer dogs over cats, but I like cats though. I just read that as no one's perfect. I like turtles. Okay, thanks, Corey. But no, I do think this is one of those books that people, especially if they didn't read Stray Dogs and fall in love with Stray Dogs, this is one of those books that a lot of people are just gonna pass over or skip over because they're like, a fucking story about cats, like Jesus Christ, no. But it's actually really really freaking good. So I've been pushing my comic shop owner to really tell people check it out. And he's seen his sales go up as he's getting more people. And what's great is we've actually had people coming into his shop that are comic book readers, and they'll come in with like their wife or their girlfriend, and we'll be talking about it, or he'll mention it. So the girlfriend will get the first issue and then read it to see like, okay, we'll check it out. And then she's like, oh, honey, you've got to read this. And then they both become fans, and now it's on their pull list. So that's what we like to see.
But yes,
indeed. All right, we're going to move on to, hey, we got Zach's popping up in the house. Joshy, hey. Canadian, question mark, maybe, perhaps. We're going to move on to our number 3 picks. So coming in for me, and this is where I will now fully stand behind the picks that I chose. But coming in for me, yeah, the others were just like if you're like, what the fuck were you thinking for number 4 and 5? I'd be like, yeah, okay, you're fine. But these I will stand behind, 1, because they surprised me, and 2, I thought they were decent in a lot of ways. But coming in for number 3, I actually picked Misery, and I've never picked a Spawn World book.
I thought it was Misery. I thought it was
okay, Misery then. Well, Misery, Misery,
because I thought it was a Jewish comic book called Misery. Oh, never mind. All right.
Oh, well,
that was a joke. Never mind.
Oh,
yeah,
right over my head. So it is Misery, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh man. That's one of the moments I would like to forget on live streams. Misery
Anyway,
number one, written by Todd McFarlane with art by Simon Kodransky, and colors by FCO Placentia. I don't that name, man. I'm sorry, FCO. Just go by FCO. So Simon Fitzgerald is just a young woman trying to find her place in the world as the daughter of Wanda Fitzgerald, the former wife of Al Simmons, aka Spawn. She has been endowed with incredible abilities that keep her cut off from those around her. Her journey into the darkness starts here. This was a really interesting. Did you read this by chance?
I want to say I did, and I wasn't impressed by it. But look,
Okay.
I'm not going to lie, Josh. A lot of the second batch of Spawn books that have come out have not been that good. A lot of them just have been.
Yeah, for me, this doesn't feel like a Spawn book. And there's like some opening pages that just kind of feel like you get thrown into the book, and I wasn't really sure what was going on. And she's having an issue with, I guess, her father. But it moves on. What really stood out for me here is honestly the art. I thought that
Simon, come on.
Yeah, Simon's art, man, like it just the script itself could be mediocre, but the art is so fantastic that it's worth a read. And there's a lot of violence in here. So I feel like a lot of times when you have a female-led book, you kind of get this like, oh, well, you either don't get any action, or if you do, you get like a page and it's done. And you've got her getting punched. They're getting like kind of accosted by some dudes in a subway. It doesn't hold back from how they do it. Like one of the panels is a guy like grabbing his crotch in front of her.
Oh,
yeah, like it. I mean, you're not seeing like Wang or anything. This isn't this isn't Batman Damned. But just the fact that they weren't afraid to go there, and call her a bitch and do that, like that's not stuff you see. And not that I'm saying promoting you should call women bitches, but for me, it felt like a very seedy kind of like 1990s New York where I could have believed this stuff would have happened.
I would call it challenging.
Yeah, sure. What I will say in its disservice is I really don't know what the story is supposed to be. So, kind of check that as a failure for the first issue. But everything else that it did, I was pretty much in tune with and enamored with. And again, Simon Kodransky's art, just freaking incredible. So
yeah, he's a fantastic artist. Yeah, and he did a book with I think it was Nightmare Valley, Nightmare Country, or whatever it was called, with Stephen Niles. Came out like 2 years ago. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
and
it's little things too, like where you'll have scenes where she's crossing the street, and you'll have two kind of smaller panels, but they're like just brighter because their color palette's different. But it's like the walk and don't walk signs that they're not where they're supposed to be on the street. They're just there to kind of like, I don't know, make the page a little more interesting. He does a lot of stuff like that. It reminds me of ACO, who's the artist for the Midnighter books and the recent book, The Madness. But he'll do all these little mini panels kind of scattered throughout the page that just highlight small details. And I've always liked that. I think it's an interesting way to call attention to different elements of the story and the narrative. So I thought this was a good read. If you didn't check it out, or if you didn't read it, go check it out. Let me know if I'm crazy, or if you're like, hey, that was worth it, or decide if it was worth it just for discovering Simon's art. So, Drew, moving on to we've got sex. Oh no, Josh's Austrian landscaper love just came bursting out. I don't know what you're talking about, Zax. I never said it. I never professed my love for a certain person by accident by reading comments on a live stream. And then JD Petty put Josh's RoboCop villain is coming out. Yeah, well, all's fair in love and war. Drew, your number 3 pick is actually 2 issues, but we're totally cheating because why not? And shockingly, it's a Blood Hunt tie-in, but it's Wolverine Blood Hunt number 1 and 2. So this was written by Thomas Waltz, who I'm not. Are you familiar with Thomas Waltz?
Yeah, Tom Waltz. Yeah, he was doing the Ninja Turtles. He's been doing the Turtles over at IDW for like the longest time as like a co-writer frequently, and I think he did some Transformers, but mostly Turtles. And I think this is one of the first. I think this is like his. I don't know if it's his first foray, but one of the very times he's jumped over to Marvel, and he did a fun job here, and just telling a fun, kick-ass Wolverine, just mowing down vampires, and it's fucking awesome. But look, I'm not gonna lie, this is just me. The price of the mission alone is worth it for the Juan Jose Reap art. Juan Jose Reap, he has been one of my personal favorite artists for the last 25 years. I've been speaking of RoboCop, he did the Frank Miller RoboCop art adaptation back in the early aughts for Avatar. And on top of that, he did Nightmare on Elm Street, and he did a Wolverine miniseries with, I believe, Charlie Houston, which is a pretty crazy read. But he has not lost his touch, and he is still a fantastically bloody well illustrating artist. And he does not hold back on the graphicness of the violence, and it's just what's needed for a Wolverine book. If you want to see Wolverine just kicking ass, this is it, and this is what I want. This is what the main Blood Hunt run should have been, right here, what we got here in this Wolverine book. And this was fantastic. If you're going to check this out, just check it out for the Juan Jose Reap art alone. And this is arguably, I hated this event, but this Wolverine 2-parter, holy crap, this is fantastic.
Yeah, it's always fascinating when you can have like an entire event with all these tie-ins just completely miss the mark, and then you got that one like random tie-in that's 1 or 2 issues that's like, yep, I understood the assignment.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, how did you get this, but none of the other retards in class even got close? I agreed. So I had no intention of picking up any of these Blood Hunt tie-ins. It was not on my to-do list. I read Blood Hunt #1. That was enough for me. I'll wait to hear what happens. But then I think you and Wes were talking about this, and I was like, all right, got to check it out.
Yeah.
And it's surprisingly good, not only for Blood Hunt, but for Marvel.
Yes.
Right now. So
yeah, this is a hit. This is a title that Marvel needs, honestly, in my opinion. And they need more of them. It's great to see creatives like Thomas and Juan Jose who get it. Juan, he's been the artist on the Wolverine book now for a while. It'd be nice if I got to work with Juan. It'd be nice if I got to do a project with him. That's all I gotta say.
Oh,
I wish. If only.
If anyone out there is listening, or have you already listened? I thought this was a really good pick. I thought this was a really good pick and a total surprise. Because I think if we had gone back to months past and been like, in June, we're gonna pick a Marvel book, and not only that, we're picking a Wolverine book, but it's a tie-in to Blood Hunt. We'd be like, fuck off.
Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah. So a lot of goodness here, worth the money, worth the purchase. And I'll agree with the art. It's fantastic. Max, I accidentally said prick. Go away. Was it a thick prick? Oh, I don't know.
Thick.
That's for a different show. Those are 3 seasons that thick. And then JD Petty is heading to bed. Have a good night. You as well, sir. You have a good night as well. We're gonna move on to our number 2 picks for the week, and I'm really curious to see if you read this book, but I picked Rifters #1 by Brian Posen and Joe Troman, with art by Chris Johnson and colors by Mark Englert. This is a time travel story, but it's so absurd because it's kind of like, what if time travel became commercialized? So you've got all these instances of, imagine young America, and we've seen those videos of people like getting interviewed on the street, and they're like, how many states are in the United States? And they're like, I don't know, 26.
Like jaywalking, the Jay Leno stuff. But love that. Yeah.
So imagine people like that, like total dumbasses, total kind of like chads, but not the good kind of chad. To like, you've had way too much weed and you've smoked too much chad. Getting a hold of time travel devices to go do whatever the heck they want to do. For instance, like take a selfie with dead Elvis on the toilet, like shit like that. So this is what's going on in this book. and it's so irreverent, but it's so fucking funny. But just to give you an idea of what this book is like, just all you got to do is read the synopsis. So this first paragraph says, please saran wrap your ass because you're about to projectile shit yourself right into the wild world of Rifters, where Time Cop collides with Law and Order filtered through the stupid McSmarts-a-lot Einstein lens of Mr. Show. Like, that alone kind of lets you know the type of humor that's here, what's going on, what's going to happen. And I will say that I tend to read stuff like Deadpool and I find it grating.
Yes.
And then I read this and I legitimately laughed throughout most of the issue. Like, it was probably the most fun that I've had with the comedy in comics in a good while. So did you read this at all or no?
No, I'll give you 3 reasons why I didn't. But now after you mentioning this, I may have to check it out. But 3 reasons why. 1, I'm not a fan of Brian Posehn.
Yep,
2, the cover looks bland and generic.
It did.
3, I'm tired. Time travel stories. I'm just like, God, not another one. I'm fucking burnt out on this.
Okay,
but,
so all 3 things that you mentioned were 3 of the reasons this was like on the bottom of the pile for the read list for me, because I was like, oh God. And I kept trying to read whatever I could before getting to this. And I was like, and then I read it and I was like, holy shit, I'm so mad that I saved that for the end. But
all right, I'm going to check. I'm legitimately going to have to check it out now. So
yeah, I feel like it's worth checking out. If you didn't read it, go pick it up. If you like irreverent humor. But there's some good stuff there. And look, some of the jokes have political leanings, but for the most part, it's like fair game. Anyone's getting made fun of. So, Drew, your number 2 pick for the week is Redcoat number 3, written by Jeff Johns and Brian Hitch, with colors by Brad Anderson, or as he likes to be called, Brad Anderson. The unnamed, that's hard to say, the unnamed immortal hero Simon Pure has made a lot more enemies than friends through the centuries, none more so than the macabre cabal of hooded cult figures relentlessly chasing him through the centuries. But 13-year-old Albert Einstein claims to know how to help Simon unlock his true powers, if Simon will let him. Why is this your number 2 pick, and why does it beat out the other Ghost Machine books for you?
Well, so a few reasons why. When the Ghost Machine kicked off, Redcoat, when it kicked off with issues 1 and 2, I was not the biggest fan of. I thought they were okay. Mm-hmm. I didn't think they were great. But issue 3 surprised me, because this was the issue where Jeff Johns really he does a great job of really setting up what we could possibly get in this world. And if there's one thing I love, especially as a kid, it's American tall tales, American folklore, and how there's a moment in this. Well, we even get the acts of lies that George Washington had. I'm like, okay, that's a great concept. That's interesting. That's cool. Let's keep working on that. But then we get this massive room in Benedict Arnold's mansion. And you see all of these relics from like America's past, and one of which was Paul Bunyan. I'm like, oh, I love Paul Bunyan. Let me some Paul Bunyan tales. And we get also Johnny Appleseed, Appleseeds, that can play a part in this. I'm like, so this automatically has me thinking, okay, Jeff Johns is getting creative with where we could possibly be going in this world. So that means we could possibly get Pecos Bill. We could possibly get some John Henry action end up in this. We could get probably the Bull, Babe the Blue Ox in this. So he's having fun with American folklore and tall tales, and that's going to be fantastic. And I love that. And this issue is fun. Once again, well illustrated by Brian Hitch. And I think this issue was the turning point for this series, where I'm back on board and I can see Jeff Johns is attempting to have fun here.
Yes. I think one of the key things you said is you get it revealed of what all you can do with this book. And I think kind of having that realization, not necessarily that you can do it, but that Johns is thinking of that and kind of leaning into that. I think that creates so much anticipation and excitement for what can come and what potentially will come, that it kind of helps elevate this book to new levels. And in no way for me does this disregard, like Rook, or I mean, I don't, I'm not as crazy about Geiger overall, but I think still those three books are solid books.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I love Rook, but
yeah, I love Rook. It's mostly buying it for the Jason Fabok art, but the story's good too. The characters are pretty cool, but like the art is fucking amazing. Yes. But don't watch Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok in an interview. You'll get put to sleep.
Oh God. Okay, yeah, no, I'll avoid that. But yeah, Max is over here going, grifters? Yeah. Look, if you didn't read it, don't say anything, you ho. And then Zach said, why you got to bring up Deadpool? I'm sorry, it's the only thing I could relate to that has similar humor, but I thought Grifters was done better.
Oh, you mean the character to get ready to kill off to have his daughter take his place?
I don't even want to go there.
Brilliant idea.
And Max is saying Rook is by far the best. I love Rook, but I'm finding I do feel like and look, I don't know if I can make this make sense. I feel like you have to have an end point with Rook. Like, I feel like you're gonna hit 12 to 24 issues and you've told your story and that's your story. Good job.
Yeah.
I do feel like with Redcoat, it's like you could have endless stories. There's endless possibilities. And I think that's one of the things that has going for it.
Absolutely. You get, as soon as you open that door for American Tall Tales, anything is potential. We could have Simon here wrestling. Lassoing tornadoes with Pecos Bill in the Old West. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna move on to our number one picks, and I'm gonna say that this might be. It's all gonna depend on how issue 2 comes about, but this might be my favorite discovery so far this year in picking up number ones. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I never would have guessed it based on the writer, but Falling in Love on the Path to Hell #1, written by Jerry Duggan with art by Gary Duggan. Brown. Yeah. And colors by Chris O'Halloran. This is a violent book. And you've got your two lead characters are here. So you have a Japanese woman and this kind of, American Western man. But the sunset on let me go ahead and read the synopsis. The sun set on samurai and gunslingers at roughly the same time, but our two leads didn't die off quietly. In the east, Asami and Onamusha, warrior and female samurai, would rather die with her weapons than surrender them to a sword hunt. In the west, the gunslinger McWraith follows his revenge to the bitter end and pays the ultimate price. The future lovers are mortally wounded, a world apart, and wake together in a purgatory ruled. Oh God, I can't read tonight. In a purgatory ruled by a ruthless society of damned warriors. This one has it all: action, the dead, the dying, the undead, and of course, romance. I will say there was like no romance in this first issue, so I don't know how heavily they're going to lean into romance. But you do have a lot of people getting shot to death and a lot of people getting sliced up to death.
We'll probably get a lesbian romance. I'm willing to bet you. She does. Those two do not look like a happy couple. I don't see them being.
They don't look like a happy couple, but I don't think they're very happy people in general. But I don't know. So for the McWraith, he kind of has the way they presented his character kind of remind me of the Enfield Gang Massacre. You kind of have that same type of grit and just ruthlessness that's there. And for her, Asami, she's very much traditional, respectful Japanese, like, and they're kind of being taken over, and because they're being taken over, they're supposed to be surrendering their weapons so they can't fight back. And just in an act of defiance, as she's laying down her weapon, she just decides no, and she goes ham. And you've got like swords going through people's faces, you got people's hands getting chopped off, people's heads getting chopped off. Like, they did not hold back. And Gary Brown is an artist that I'm not always fond of. I know I believe he's been doing GI Joe, right? Or is that?
No, I don't know
Oh
what.
no, that's what's his name that did Nightwing. Gary Brown did a run on Catwoman that I was not fond of, and he did something called Gotham by Midnight. But here, his style, because it's really gritty, kind of messy, it just works. It works perfectly for this book. So we'll see where it goes. The last two, well, never mind. I'm not even gonna say the last two pages. Go read the book. um, Drew, for your number one pick, you picked Nottingham, number 13, written by David Hazen with art by Shane Connery Volk, colors by Luca Romano, and The Battle on the Bridge. On the eve of battle, history repeats itself as enemies become allies and friends become enemies, and Nottingham threatens to tear itself apart. Why is this your number one pick?
Oh, okay. I mean, like this is this not the penultimate issue, but issue 15 is the final issue. This is so King the king is there at the gates with Robin. They're threatening to break down the gates to get into Nottingham, but there's a challenge. There is a duel, if you will, between Little John and Robin Hood, and it is a brutal, violent, awesome battle. It is a beautifully illustrated, bloody battle. Shane Connery Volk, he's an artist. You know, we talked to him on Max's channel, and it just we've really seen him grow over these 13 issues. Just how much more confident and just how much more detailed he's gotten in his pages, and you really just see the violence, the brutality, the anger coming out in this book. It is beautiful. It is bloody well done, especially with what a certain character does to another. But yeah, let's just say it doesn't turn out too well for one of them. And by the end of this issue, yeah, a certain party is still trying to get into Nottingham. It doesn't look too good. So yeah, everyone, if you're not reading Nottingham, you need to check this out. We're getting toward the end. It is arguably the best Robin Hood tale we've gotten since Robin Hood Prince of Thieves, and it's a great counter programming to what we've gotten from Robin Hood related the last 25 years. This is how you do it. It's been fantastic. It's given me twists and turns I didn't see coming, and this, if you want something fun, bloody, historic in a way, do check this out. You're going to be surprised.
Yeah, I'm sad to say that this is still one of those books that I need to catch up on because I completely missed out on. I know. And who's the publisher for this again?
Mad Cave. I think it's Mad
Cave.
Cave.
Yeah. I missed out, and I need to get caught up. And I keep forgetting to at least try to get because they have a volume 1 trade, right, for like the first 6 issues or so.
They've made a hardcover, I believe, of like the first 10 issues, I think. I've got it. Yeah. So
yeah,
good.
I definitely need to catch up because everyone I know that has read this has done nothing but talk about how good it is. You've discussed it. Max has discussed it. I remember when the first set of issues were coming out, Wes was consistently discussing it. And I'd never picked it up because it wasn't at my comic shop. And that's a, sorry excuse, but I definitely missed out. So,
I mean, the first time I was really introduced to it was when it came out. The first issue came out because the pre-orders for that were massive. It is one of those books that it instantly went to a 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th printing, almost every other week. It was ridiculous just how fast issue 1, 2, and 3 were selling out, and how high they were going on in the aftermarket on eBay. Because it was hot, and people know. And I think, like I said, there's a lot of spec value behind it clearly in those early issues, but there's a great story here, and I really do hope a lot of those collectors who bought those issues did actually take their index finger and thumb and turn the cover to actually read the story.
Wow. Yeah, good stuff. I'm looking forward to picking it up. And you did mention that you had Shane on Max's channel, and really good discussion there. I really loved it. I think I even commented to Max. I love that you guys in particular have a knack if you'll have these creators or artists come on, and sometimes in these cases where they may not personally know y'all, you can tell they're a little, like walls up. Let's keep it PC. Let's keep it professional. And then usually by the end of that first hour, they're like the hair's down. They're comfortable. They're just kind of speaking how they really feel. And you're kind of getting to see them not only as a professional but also as a fan of the medium that they work in. And I think it's always just a good time. So if you haven't watched those episodes, go watch those episodes of Comic Shop Conversations on Max's channel. And while you're at it, go pick up this book and give it a little ready read. Don't be like me. Don't be a loser like me. Okay? Go read Nottingham. That is going to wrap up our list for tonight. I guess just some final thoughts or announcements. I guess I can say this past Monday we had the oh gosh, man, we're struggling tonight. We had Marvelous Monday, Captain Marvel drop. I thought it was a fun conversation. Because we tried to, call out things that were okay, but man, there's so many. You said death by 1,000 paper cuts, and 100% that is what is wrong with that movie. But if you haven't watched that, go watch our conversation for it. Next week, we will return back with Culture Popped. And then the week after that, we will have another Top 5 Comics where we cover July comics. Then we will be caught up as we move forward. And when we get into September, we'll have a new show debuting, and it's going to be a comic book club. So I'm really excited for that. And I'm hoping that we'll have, at least 6 to 10 people that are willing to come on and just kind of discuss the book we read. You don't have to be a critic. You don't have to be a YouTuber. You don't have to be whatever. We just want to get a group of people discussing a book, whether they liked it, whether they didn't like it. We're not going to be harassing people unless they have an absolutely terrible take. Then we might. But really what I want to do is encourage more people to read more comics that are good comics. And for this series, we will be starting off with Superman for All Seasons, which I think is a great Superman book, an extremely heartfelt Superman book. And, Max is probably going to cry and have a boner at the same time, and, weird stuff like that.
It's odd reading that. Like, I'll just say real quick. It's a complimentary story to John Byrne's Man of Steel. It's like it's very odd. It's kind of like they both kind of go hand in hand. They can interchange. Like, some of the stories can go in between the others, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting because so my comic shop, we started doing like a book club, and we're reading graphic novels and coming up together and meeting every other week. And we had one last night, and it was All-Star Superman. And I brought up the fact that when you look at the top Superman books or what's considered the best, it tends to be origin stories or his death. And we mentioned that same thing with John Byrne's Man of Steel and how he used that to kind of reset the Superman lore and kind of like streamline things coming out of was it
Crisis?
0 Hour? Okay, it was Crisis. That's right. And that how much for All Seasons kind of just really does go hand in hand, that you get a lot of kind of like, I don't want to say the plot points, but like here's the beats of where we are with Superman. And then I feel like Superman for All Seasons just kind of really lays in the emotional aspects of it. If that makes any sense. But
yes, it does. Yeah.
Good stuff. I'm excited. I think we're going to have a good time. And then when we get the book club kicked off, it's going to be once a month. So one graphic novel / trade / whatever it might be each month. So it'll be easy to maintain, read, accomplish, even if you've got a busy schedule. But since we're doing it once a month, we'll do each quarter, we'll have one Marvel, one DC, one indie. And we'll probably kind of let, if you're a member, kind of help decide what books we choose for that. So, Drew, anything else you want to talk about before we head out?
All I got to say is do go to that website to check out the covers we got for Fan Expo Chicago. I hope you're able to hopefully buy one. I haven't sold you yet already. Hopefully one of the covers will. And stay tuned on Saturday on the Thinking Critical channel. Stay tuned Saturday morning. That's all I got to say.
Oh, are you going to... Wait, oh, because you're doing your top comics with Wes, right?
Not necessarily. There may be something else happening Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't say what,
Sure.
but something may be happening. Yeah.
Well, we'll keep our eyes and our ears open, and we may or may not be subscribed to. I mean, I'm subscribed to Wes, so we do have Jane in the house. Sub boners, perfect time to say sub boners with this image on the screen. Couldn't have asked for better timing. We also have Shield Wall coming in. Hello, sir. We were just talking about Marvelous Monday. But yeah, go check it out. I put the link in the chat again. So, go back the book, go purchase the book. And then if you're going to be at, was it Fan Expo?
Fan Expo Chicago next week.
If you're going to be at Fan Expo Chicago, go find Drew, go hunt him down and tell him how awesome he is and tell him that I'm more awesome.
Oh.
But until then, we will see you guys in 2 weeks for more comic conversations. I shouldn't say that. That's Max's show. More top 5 comics. But yeah, thanks for coming in, hanging out with us. Thanks for putting up with me being a total idiot that can't read because I've got a Texas education. And I mean, look, it's fitting. Why not? But until then, I will see y'all next time.
Get the fuck